Hi everyone. Today I'm going to engrave a subject that's close to my heart, and that is the flame lily. The flame lily, the Gloriosa superba, is the national flower of Zimbabwe, which is my old home country. I have a lovely photo on this beautiful heavy lead crystal wine glass, very thick, well, comparatively thick. And gosh, it is heavy. And so lovely and clear lead crystal. I've already sandblasted can you see it? Oh, there it is, 60 on there. And I've put a picture behind it. So you can see how easy it is to engrave a subject when, people say to me, I can't draw. Well, this is a transparent medium. So if you need to trace something, trace it. This has got to be repeated on 4 glasses, and I don't normally do this. Normally, if I'm going to hand engrave something, I engrave 1 piece, maybe 2. But this is for a special friend of mine, and for her and her hubby, and some other friends of mine who I know from the same period of time back in Zimbabwe, for her and her hubby. I might even do one for myself as well. And so as we are all ex-Zimbabwean, these will go down a treat. So hence I'm doing 4 the same hand engraved glasses. Right, each will be 60. I didn't explain, we all turned 60 within the last year or 2, and so it's a bit of a celebration. Why not? Okay, so I can't tell you anything else about these glasses, but let's get on with it. I'm going straight in here with a small diamond burr. As you can see, very simply copying the outlines. Obviously, I am slightly offset compared to where the camera is, but you get the general idea. Using water, and just slowly, you don't have to stick absolutely rigidly to what you see, but it's just roughly the same as the image, because I'm going to be doing this 4 times over, and so they will all be slightly different, but from a distance they will all look the same. Now these flame lilies have interesting colors. They vary quite a lot, but they basically are a lighter color near the bottom, and then they go darker, but some have a bright color all the way around the petals, with a darker area in the middle, and so it doesn't really matter. Just play it by ear. There are some that have got a very distinct line up the middle of the petal, and I will be adding that at the end because I like that. And I've done, I don't know how many flame lilies over all the years that I've been engraving, simply because the flame lily is the national flower of Zimbabwe, as I mentioned before. So I've done loads and loads of them. So still with a small diamond, you will notice that for these little bits here, they've got a little bit of pollen on the top there, so a little bit of a dotty effect. But I am engraving a single thin line. Where you see it's actually fat going to thin, I'm not doing that. I'm not outlining that. I'm just going a thin line in the middle, because then I can thicken it up. Now you can't really see clearly what I'm tracing there. It's got a funny sort of long thing at the bottom. You'll see it just now. Just getting all the white tack out the middle. Okay, so there's the outline of glass number 1. And you can see how the 60 fits nicely on the bottom there. And there's number 2. And there's number 3 and 4. I'm not going to bore you with watching the outlining of them, of course. Right, here I have got a large diamond burr. I'm being very careful with it. You can stick to a smaller burr, but I like to work with a large burr in a large area. And I am creating a sort of a downward flare, as you can see, going from out to in. That way it's easy to stick to within the outlines, and it also gives you that texture. It almost, not all of them are the same, but it's almost like a slightly leafy effect. And if it's not in the picture, it doesn't matter. You are the artist and you have got artistic license. Do whatever you like. Put dots in the middle if you want. Now, clearly I will be neatening up and filling up the areas, and if I don't want to go right to the outer edge, I leave a bit, certainly for the little pointy bits perhaps. Then you can go back to a smaller burr to fill in. But I like this effect. I like the strokey effect. It gives it, as I say, texture. The light will pick that up, and also your rubber will pick it up later on. So I'm not pressing too hard, but it's got a bit of a pressure. This is a really good diamond burr, and these glasses are very soft lead crystal, so it's not difficult to create depth. Lots of water dripping down, and of course this minimizes the dust and eases the cut. Makes a lovely, lovely clean cut. Here I have a slightly smaller diamond burr for the smaller areas, taking it right up to the edge. This is a bit of a background, so I'm actually not going deep at all. That's quite shallow. The red on this diamond burr, if I can remember correctly, do you know what? I hardly even notice these things. I know that if it is a black band, and some suppliers, the black is usually very harsh, and the blue is a kind of medium grit, and this color is quite fine. I don't know whether all suppliers are the same, but basically just feel it with your finger. You can actually get used to the feel of something that's really rough and something that's smoother. I can tell straight away by touching it on the tip of my finger or rubbing the tip of my finger on the top of the burr. But of course your best way is to pick up a glass and test it out. Now you will notice that I am now going over the middle of the single thin line that I engraved, so that it is now a thicker and thinner line, going from thin to thick. Now I'm actually breaking my own rules here. I'm going sideways, which is not easy. I should have turned the glass around and either pulled it or pushed it out. That just makes it more controllable, but it's not too bad. I'm stopping just before the 60. I'm not going through the 60 or behind the 60. I decided not to do that at all, and I'm leaving that 60 completely clear. Now this is that funny little bit hanging out, and you can see I have turned the glass. It's just easier to pull it towards me. Give it a wipe, and there's the sort of step 1, if you like, or step 1 and 2. Just the basics. And I like to, at that point, do the second one, and the third, and the fourth, because you know basically what you've just used. It's easy to work it out, it's easy to remember, and you can make them match a little better. So here I am going over the blank areas with a green stone. Use a pink stone, use a brown stone, whichever stone that's not too coarse. And I actually ran this a little bit over another stone just to get rid of any excess protruding grit. Sometimes you get a little bit of grit sticking out that makes it a bit rougher. So I just got rid of that, and it's producing a nice tone. It's not too dark, it's not too bright, it's in between. You can't really notice it at the moment, but it will polish out easier than diamond. So I'm going very lightly, and the drill is not running that fast. And there's glass number 2. So I'm using this stage of the engraving. I've stopped here and repeated it on all the glasses. And you know what? It also helps with boredom. I hate repeating glasses. As I said earlier, I don't do this normally. But it is a way of not only remembering exactly what you've used and how you've created that effect, but it also means you get going a bit faster. To complete a glass and then suddenly realize you've got to go from start to finish on the next one, and then start to finish on the next one, and the next one if you're doing 4, and it just drags out. So this way it doesn't feel so bad. Here I have got Dura White, the little round one, and I'm creating the slightly darker effect that you see in the picture. Doesn't really have to be exactly like this. As I say, they change. There's so many different variegations and the different varieties. So of course the Dura White, unlike the greenstone, the Dura White is actually much softer, and as you can see, it's really producing a darker area just by it's actually smoothing out the diamond quite a lot. So using the rubber now, it's just easy to get that dark effect at the bottom there. Little brown rubber. They also come in different colors. I've actually got a little pale grey one, which is actually quite hard. It depends where you get them from. You have to experiment. Here's a soft grey rubber, and I'm just whacking in some a little bit of darkness. Those areas, of course, are where it folds. It's the back of the petal. As you can see, there are actually two petals on the other side. I think there's 5 altogether. I don't think there's 6. I think there's 5. And I've got a small diamond here, which I'm just neatening up. And I'm extending this funny little thing. And later on, I realized actually there's 3 little prongs sticking out, so I do add a 3rd. So onto the next glass, just going over the same sort of idea. And the next, of course, I've done each one with the Dura White as well, you will notice. So I used that as a whole step on all of them. And now this small diamond on all of them. You don't want to leave a gap. I don't like gaps, and a lot of beginners will leave a gap between the stalk, for example, and the flower, just because you've learnt that darkness is necessary where between the two. But of course, I like to engrave the darkness, even if it means starting off with a diamond and then polishing back with a stone and then a rubber, so that there's at least something there. Here I've got my Dura White, and I'm just making these I don't know, what are they? Stamen? I don't know. I apologize to all those gardeners who are way more intelligent than me when it comes to flowers. I've literally got to take myself back to school days, because I love engraving them, but I don't know all their bits. And so this, of course, is giving it a kind of a mottly half tone. You can see how I've turned the glass again in my hand, just for ease. This burr, of course, will smooth out any little chippy bits, as you know, if you've used a diamond that's quite rough and it's left those little scratchy bits on the side. This Dura White will tidy that up. greenhouses get to this same stage. Okay, 4 done. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will be soon coming up with the last part of this video. Cheers for now.